Now with that, let's push on to Hurricane Helene, which hit the 24th through the 27th in September 2024, starting off its life journey in the Caribbean down in this region here as a tropical depression, moving northwestward, strengthening to a tropical storm, and eventually hurricane strength as it pushes just north of Mexico. Going into the Gulf, it strengthened and strengthened up to major hurricane strength, up to 140 miles per hour, into a very vulnerable area for hurricanes in the United States, the Big Bend region, which saw landfall, causing over 200 fatalities, 117 injuries, and $75 billion worth of damage. This was all attributed to the mix of impacts that Helene brought, including the large rain event that happened, the large storm surge event that happened upon landfall, and the also multiple tornadoes that were brought to the Florida panhandle. However, that is not the only impacts that were really the main cause for Hurricane Helene to be retired. As you can see, this storm meandered off into the west and then did a loop, dropping almost 20 to 30 inches of rain in many states, including South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and North Carolina. These regions were the main areas where we saw the most fatalities because of these flood-prone areas that saw 1 in 1,000 year floods that were very, very deadly. Overarching, this is the reason why Hurricane Helene has been retired, as not only the people on the coast who felt the impacts, but the people who felt the impacts almost 1,000 miles inland who saw the flooding rain and some areas that will not recover for many, many years. Before we move on from Helene, I just want to go over that flooding extent that had happened and why it happened. First of all, we're going to look at this satellite loop, which includes the water in the atmosphere kind of signaling where these thunderstorms are. So I definitely want to draw your attention to the central United States, almost right in the center of your screen, and I'm going to highlight where the rain's falling. So putting this into motion, we have some rain actually pre-leading this hurricane, and then you are going to see the hurricane start to come off up the north of your screen. All this moisture just be drawn to the north, and eventually the actual hurricane's moisture be drawn into that circulation and coming back with more precipitation. With this, you can really see how that predecessor event of widespread rain, which was already causing flooding, combined with Hurricane Helene, made it so deadly. That is why we had over 250 hurricane-related deaths, flooding deaths on top of that. That is why Hurricane Helene is being retired.